Busy times on the Queensway this morning at Pinecrest. The usual volume of traffic starting to slow things down a bit as motorists and drivers make their way into work. Welcome back to 8 Channel Morning. Well, happening this weekend in Ottawa is the first national meeting ever of Parkinson's researchers and clinicians. There will be about 40 of them here in the nation's capital. Joining us now to talk a little bit about the main topic of discussion, and somebody who has Parkinson's herself, Shelby is here this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
We've met before, and we'll talk a little bit about how you're feeling now in a few moments. Dr. David Grimes is also here. You're the co-chair of the consortium. Welcome.
That's right. Thank you.
This is, I guess it's pretty exciting that this is the first ever meeting and getting all these people together to discuss, I guess, a strategy nationwide to bring researchers together.
That's right. I mean, we have a few different objectives for the meeting. I mean, one of the main points is to try and get people together, talking about it more, trying to collaborate more.
Right. What is Parkinson's?
So the main features of Parkinson's are that there are cells that are deep in the brain, and we've thought for years that the main focus is these cells deep in the brain that cause stiffness, slowness, and tremor.
Right. And you've brought the sample ball this morning here.
Brought the brain in.
You brought the brain in, okay.
And so that for the last basically 3 decades, we've thought that there's cells way down deep in the brain that send projections up to the rest of the brain, that they're the focus of the problem. They've been the focus of the problem, like I said, for 3 decades. And we've realized that the problem is much more widespread within the brain. And so it's not just these deep structures, it's other parts of the brain. And so the treatment strategies now and the research is focusing on how can we develop new strategies to try and affect all the different cells in the brain, not just these deep ones.
Right. And Shelby, when did you first recognize the signs of Parkinson's?
I first noticed when I was training for the Boston Marathon,
right.
And realized that there was kind of a weightedness on my left-hand side, but it was very subtle. But because you're training for a marathon, you're very in tune with your body, and so I thought, okay, that's interesting. But then I was talking on the phone with my left hand, and it started to shake, and I couldn't get it to stop. And I initially thought it was too much caffeine in my body, but then when I cut out the caffeine, it continued. So then I thought I should investigate.
But you're still running marathons, half marathons.
Half marathons, yes.
And how are you feeling? Because we met a couple of years ago. How have things been for you over the past couple of years?
Well, I think the fact that I exercise and that I try and eat healthy and keep a positive attitude was all good for me, and I take some supplements and stuff, just naturopathic stuff. But things have progressed, and that's the nature of the disease, because it's a degenerative disease and a progressive disease. So I've noticed slow differences. So my tremor is sort of more pronounced more of the time, and there's a little bit of a limp in my gait. My left leg might drag a bit, and I get fatigued more, which is interesting. Mentally fatigued and physically fatigued.
Now this is on your left side. And you move. I've noticed that you're moving when it's tremoring. Is that common? Does that help? Or
well, it's interesting with people with Parkinson's. You kind of try to hide it, sort of thing. So I find that I shove my hand in my pocket, or I'll stick it under my leg and that sort of thing to try and hide it, just to stop it from happening, because it is incessant. And so just you think, okay, just calm down.
Right.
And
but can you stop it from? Can you stop it?
So often for people, the tremor is a rest tremor, and so when they move, it actually will at least dampen considerably, if not go away. There are medications that we give people when the tremor starts to bother them enough, or the slowness starts to bother them enough, but we don't have anything right now that can actually affect this progression. That's where we really need the research.
So what kind of hope can you give people like Shelby?
There's a lot of exciting things happening on the basic science front, some still a little bit futuristic, but there's a lot of interest in Parkinson's. There's more money coming into Parkinson research, but we certainly need more and more help. And there's more scientists with lots of unique tools to try and better understand how the brain functions.
Okay, and researchers and clinicians are coming from right across the country for this weekend?
That's right, and so all the top Canadian researchers in Parkinson's, the top clinicians in Parkinson's, so trying to get everybody working on the same page and get everybody's unique talents focused more on Parkinson's.
Okay, well good luck to you this weekend, and focusing on that, narrowing down, and maybe someday there could be a cure. Wouldn't that be wonderful to see?
Thanks.
Shelby, you take care of yourself.
Okay.
All right. We're going to head back to the RA Centre now. Angie Poirier is spending the morning there. She's checking out a number of activities. Angie, back to you.